Hey guys, Marsingan here, bringing on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today we are going to be taking a look at your guys' thoughts on the year of Dokkan 2024. I put out this tweet earlier while I was streaming this morning, shared the link around. So it just says, as you can see, what were the biggest, the best or worst, hypest or dumbest moments of Dokkan 2024. Let me know your thoughts and I'll make an end of year community video. So obviously here we are. Now, obviously, I wanted this to be anything, best, worst, funniest, hypest, whatever you want to say. There's a big old thread, so thank you to everyone who did indeed reply. We are going to sit and go through all of these. Obviously, if you didn't get to see the thread before I started recording, you don't see your reply in the video. There's quite a few replies, so if we don't get through them all as well, if you did manage to make it to reply to the thread but didn't make it into the video, depending on how long it's going to go, do just let me know in the comments any of your thoughts. Even if you saw the thread and maybe you only put like the best moment and you want to add the worst or anything like that, do let me know down below in the comments. But shout out to everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the 2024 Dokkan year. We'll be looking forward to seeing how we get on in 2025. I have a video coming out a little bit later where I talk about who I think were some of the best and worst releases of this year, both new units and EZAs. So that'll be an interesting one for sure, and hopefully we can have a good 2025. But shout out to Truth, the first comment here. Beast Gohan's release during the 9th anniversary single-handedly turned the vibes for the game around, going from 2023, the worst year in modern Dokkan history, to Beast Gohan led 2024, the best year in modern Dokkan history. I mean, yeah, the feel overall for 2023 was a bit hit and miss. Like, we had so many just random releases or Dokkan Fests that weren't very good. I think a lot of people spent a fair bit of time, I guess I would say, being disappointed with new releases, whereas obviously we have the releases this year I think have definitely been much better overall. So I guess it does depend on everyone's personal preference, but we've had some really good releases this year. Beast Gohan coming out in 2024. I mean, I'll definitely be talking about him in that video later on, because Dokkan for some reason waited a bit longer than some of the other games in order to actually put Beast into the game, and then when they did, obviously, you know, they went all out, right? And people were super hyped when he came out. It was one of those things where he was finally in the game, and obviously not only was he finally in the game, but he was the best unit in the game. So people were definitely very excited, very happy overall when he was finally added. And then, yeah, 2024 just kind of went from strength to strength in a bunch of different ways. So people very much enjoying the release of Beast Gohan. Having him finally in the game, being as good as he was, I think was definitely a good start to the year. And then 2024 being as good as it was, obviously worked very well for the community. People very happy, I think, this year compared to last year for sure. So shout out to Truth. Shout out to Minato. Physical Rose's release on Global might have been one of the worst decisions made once we look back at everything that happened. Yeah, I'll definitely be talking about that in the video later. I think, in fact, he's going to cover, yeah, he's covering most of the points that I would talk about with this guy. Worst banner, left out most of the options he got on the JP release, was buffed when he got released on JP, so on Global he didn't even work as intended. Led to false expectations the community had on how the JP releases for the sync would be handled. That is also true. A lot of people thought the sync would work in a certain way, thanks to them dropping Rose as a global first, and then obviously it didn't. So yeah, certainly Rose, even though I like Rose, like Minato and I meme about it all the time. Like, Minato doesn't like Rose, and I think he over-hates him a little bit for the memes. I think people underrate Rose, so I sometimes kind of like over-defend him for the memes. So we talk about it on the podcast sometimes. But yeah, even as someone that likes physical Rose, his release was definitely flawed, shall we say, coming out as a global first. So let me know your thoughts, but we'll talk about that in the video later as well. But shout out to Minato, co-host of the Slot 1 Super podcast. Or more of that will, of course, continue into 2025 as well. The first episode will, in fact, be on this coming Friday, the 3rd of January. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. But shout out to Raudo. The delay on how the sync was handled. Back in the Worldwide Celebration, they announced the games would be synced. And yeah, obviously everyone got super excited. Leaving vital components that could have made the game better at certain empty periods. Leaving the player base with delays on releases such as Jiren this December, making him rather useless since he was paired up with a Carnival LR that people would argue is better than him. Oh, for sure, like Gotenks is better than Jiren. The sync could have been handled much better, but they dropped the ball. I mean, they released it so early. That's what's so weird about it, is they released it so early, and then seemingly they waited so long to actually do some of the things to really, like, make the sync, you know, put the sync into action. Like, there were certain dead periods during the year that it feels like they could have dropped some of these things, rather than we basically got all the way to the anniversary for Global in July, and then we had that slew of like back-to-back banners. Like them releasing Tech UI Goku at the end of the anniversary. Like, some people would be excited that he came out a lot earlier on Global than he would have in previous years. A lot of people disappointed because he came out at the end of the anniversary and they'd already spent all their stones. So, like, rather than releasing him so much sooner than he would normally, because I think he only came out a few weeks after his release on JP, instead they could have released one of the other units that was, like, on the schedule to come out, and then released UI a little bit later, rather than spamming all of those banners with units that people wanted to see in that short period of time, right? So I think the sync, whilst it's great that it's here now, and I'm looking forward to how we go through 2025, it definitely could have been handled considerably better. So shout out to Annie. So the Hypist making Tech Gogeta the best unit on EZA. I mean, it's arguably the case, right? Dropping an LR Gotenks finally, and a Carnival at that. Beast Gohan finally arriving. Extreme unit for the anniversary. Yeah, with Broly. I know people sometimes are disappointed when Broly is like the big extreme character release, because he doesn't go as well with some other extreme characters, but it was cool to finally have an extreme headliner for the anniversary again. Int Boo's unique but good design. Yep, Int Boo's definitely a fun unit. And then the worst, Easy Ace for Worldwide Celebration or lack thereof. I mean, I know people rag on Int Broly, but like physical Goten and Trunks are obviously really, really good. I can try to remember who the other Easy A's were. I mean, we've got the Super Easy A for STR Broly that was also really good. There was definitely some missing. We really should have got those sub Easy A's like the STR Trunks, physical Super Saiyan Gohan, and the Tech Krillin. And then yeah, Heroes ending, true, massive, saddest thing of the year. Heroes finally coming to an end. That is definitely unfortunate, but yeah. So shout out to Annie for the feedback for that. Blazer Dragon sync could have been better planned out. Oh yes, yeah, we've talked about that already. It definitely, they announced it so early, you would think that they had plans for the entire year, but it feels almost like they announced it in the Worldwide Celebration 2023, and then they didn't really do anything until right before the Worldwide Celebration 2024, which means announcing it that early just seems like a weird decision, but I suppose it is what it is, and we're there now, so there you go. But shout out to Mega Nice, the single summon agenda, absolute menace. My goat got great representation, easily the most hyped thing. I'd prefer if he was summonable, but he's great regardless. I mean, I've made my thoughts clear in the past. I'm not a huge fan of Bio Broly. I think it's a terrible design, terrible movie. It should have just been a unique character, or just Broly again, rather than taking one of the most popular characters and then turning him into like a green mush monster. But it is what it is. But it is kind of funny that, yeah, Prime Battle LR Broly came out as a new free-to-play, new Prime Battle LR. We hadn't had one for a while, with an instant EZA, and was actually really good on release. So certainly a good day for those few Bio Broly fans. But yeah, I mean, can't argue that his release definitely was very good. Another big W part of the Worldwide Celebration. The Worldwide Celebration itself overall, in terms of like content and pacing and stuff, I know a lot of people did find disappointing, but the units themselves, like the actual summonable units, I think most people can't really complain. Like the actual summonable characters definitely were very, very good. So shout out to Mega Nice, menace though he may be. It's good because some people, you know, these people with the agendas for some of these random characters, especially I know the Gotenks fans really happy with the carnival at the end of the year. So it is what it is. Shout out to Prof. Best, the Extreme Class comeback of all those awesome buffs. Not you, AGL Vegeta. Oh yeah, we'll be talking about him when we are doing the worst releases of the year video later today, that's for sure. Worst, the Heroes fumble with it ending on a super timeline Goku as the headliner while not getting an extreme headliner. Yeah, Heroes, I mean, again, we've talked about many times while we were doing the Heroes content and all this other stuff about, you know, how unfortunate the Heroes ending was. I feel like, as I've said many times before, they didn't know it was going to be the final one until a lot, if not all of the work had already been done. And then it was too, you know, they're not going to course correct and just throw all that stuff out to have different stuff for the final one instead, which is disappointing because for the very final celebration, it feels like it could have been a lot better, especially when it comes to certain character choices and certain things that people, I'm sure, would have liked to see that we then didn't actually get. So here's what it is. But yeah, as you guys know, this is the home of the Heroes agenda. We've been repping Heroes since day one. Still will continue to try and use the Heroes units in content as it comes out until that point where it's just no longer actually viable. I mean, we know, I haven't still managed not to get my run done yet, but we know that Heroes can beat Goku and Frieza with no items. So Heroes is a team that can still beat all of the events in the game with no items. So it's still a solid team, but obviously we have to hope for the future that maybe we will get some interesting crossover buffs or something else. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in November going forward to replace the Heroes celebration now that that is no longer going to be a thing. But Heroes ending and the way it ended for sure, definitely a bit of a sour note for the year, 100%. But you know, we'll always have those memories. We'll always have those Heroes units in the game, but yeah, it ending the way it did was a bit of a shame. Hypest was Beast finally coming to Global, to Dokkan, and then Dumbest, Daima Goku being a time traveler. I mean, that remains to be seen, right? Is that a spoiler for something that's going to happen in Daima? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, but... so we have VHYP says, best was the announcement of the global sync, and I'm not even a global player. Worst was the handling of the sync. Dumbest moments were the meetings and discussions they had when designing physical rosé. I mean, yeah, that is a good way to put it, right? Because the release of the way the sync was handled, as we've already discussed, was definitely not great. Definitely could have been done considerably better. But the sync itself, the fact that it actually happened, is awesome, right? Like, it's something that as a global player especially, I have been really looking forward to becoming a thing, or hoping it would be a thing. And then when they finally announced it was happening, that obviously was very exciting, but you know, the way it was handled was not great, that's for sure. And then yeah, we've mentioned physical Rosé a little bit as well. I still think he's underrated. Like, as a unit he can be good, but it is what it is. AJ says this year's most hype was the Broly trailer for the worldwide celebration. Yep, I know people definitely got excited for that. Jumbo Shark, I think you could make an argument for the sync being the hypest and dumbest moment of the year. Yep, we've already talked about that. That's, you know, it's true, right? It was such a hype thing that got announced, and then just the way it was all done is, yeah, the way it was handled was horrid, exactly. Team Anomaly, I got Daima Goku on a Goku Black Rift, then Glorio on the following rotation. Turns out my main Glorio team is pretty good. I mean, fair enough. It's not quite the exact thing of the video, but hey, if that was the hypest thing for you for the year, then we'll take it. Congrats on the pulls. There are a few hype moments I can think of. The whole anniversary with Easy A's included, worldwide the sync, any unit temporary buffs, I can't decide. Yeah, the anniversary unit temporary buffs is cool. It's a weird thing. I've seen people say they don't like it because it's temporary, but I mean, it's one of those things that's better than nothing, right? Like, those temporarily buffed units are like fun to use again, rather than just sitting in your box gathering dust. And they're not going to super Easy A for a long time. So obviously when they eventually super EZA, I would imagine they'll be better than just the temporary buffs they have now. But that's something that's cool that they did. A little bit of fun, better than nothing, exactly. Like I say, I would rather have that than just have them not be used, right? Biggest fumble was the insane fall off of worldwide to now, and also the fact they fumbled every OST since Jiren. I definitely don't agree with that. There's been some banger OSTs, the Universe Tree Goku, the Tech Gotenks, the Glorio active skill one's pretty good as well. Fall off of worldwide to now, it definitely has seemed like since the worldwide, there's been a lot more periods where things have been quite slow, and celebrations have been a bit slow, with like big empty slots, but like the unit releases since the worldwide, other than the Scout of Vegeta, have been really good. But yeah, I don't know, the later part of the year I feel like has been a bit less hype, or a little bit less like all out crazy good as the sort of anniversary to mid-year period. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think down below. Omega Surge says AGL Super Saiyan 2 Trunks released on JP first with Goku Black, only to get him on Global a day later with the release of Frieza. I'm not sure what category they're putting this. Is probably one of the oddest things that happened during the year, or one of the most random, because yeah, Global didn't get him with Rose, but then they just got him at basically the same time as JP got him anyway, which is strange. But yeah, I mean, that Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, he's okay. So, I mean, he could have released with Rose, and it's not like he'd have been the best unit on Global or anything. So, I don't know. Ultra SK, best is the 9th anniversary, worst is the Sync, hypest is Beast Gohan, dumbest is Full Power Frieza, and Global May to June. What happened in May to June on Global? We got LR Ginyu and Frieza, which is what we expected, right? I'm trying to think, like, before the anniversary, unless there's something I'm missing. Worst Dokkan celebrations of 2024 when? I mean, I'm not going to do a video like that for celebrations, because, like, I mean, the random filler Dokkan Fest ones, they just are what they are, and there have been some that, like I say, have been a bit lackluster in terms of pacing and that, but, I mean, most of the celebrations overall are generally pretty good. I don't think there's that many that stand out as being bad enough to make a list of like the worst ones. But like I say, I'll be talking about some of the worst released units in a video later today, like new release units and EZAs. So do check that out later. Great Saiyan Man, best typist moments, Broly representation. Yeah, we got the new Super Broly with the anniversary, and then obviously the worldwide being Broly themed, and the Sync. Dumbest moments, Final Heroes collab, and they did nothing special for it. Yep, agreed. Was worse than last year. I mean, yeah, I think overall it probably was. Like, some of the units are really good, but like last year, the Heroes celebration felt, I guess, more special because Limit Breaker Vegeta was so good, and the Heroes team was so crazy in the meta like last year when it first released compared to this year. And then, yeah, the road to the Sync was definitely, like I say, I feel like they announced it way too early. Best one, Buu Saga got a big upgrade this year. Yeah, I mean, by now, as of where we are now today, on the last day of 2024, Buu Saga is definitely one of the best units, best teams in the game. So I feel like the worldwide Pity was both really hype, but also a letdown. Dokkan finally getting Pity is awesome, but the amount needed to get it being basically the worst in any gacha is disappointing, especially because the other Pity types are infinitely better. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I'm surprised no one has actually mentioned that, but Dokkan finally getting a Pity system is definitely one of the hypest things. Although, I suppose actually, when did Universe Tree Goku come out on Global? Because I guess that's when Dokkan got the Pity system, because it was that for Global first, and then was it the Ribrien Trio for JP first? Was that actually, that was towards the end of last year, wasn't it? So yeah, Pity wasn't actually something that was released this year, was it? But it was only for yellow coin banners at the time. Now it's being added for more things. And yeah, the worldwide one, I can see like the up and down side of it, because yes, it's a lot, like 2,500 stones total, which is a crazy large amount, but it's across all 4 banners. And now that the games are synced and the anniversary and the worldwide are going to be like 6 months apart, if the anniversary has the same one, or even if it doesn't, people are going to spend all their stones for the anniversary. Then you have 6 months to save up for the worldwide celebration if you're a free-to-play player. With the amount of stones given out like during the celebration and in that time that you have to build up to the worldwide, you can get to 2,500 stones if you're not just summoning on all of these banners that come out in between. And that can be really useful. Like, You know, if you go the 2,500 stones, you could get all but one of the units, and then you know you're getting that last one with the pity. For me, in the worldwide, my part 2 summons were absolutely terrible, and I didn't get Int Broly or Gohan, but I was able to get to the pity and then pick one of them up with the coins, so at least I got one of them rather than not having either of them. So I thought that was definitely very, very good. So is it Sarali or Sorale? Probably pronouncing that terribly, so I apologise. Hypest and best moments for me definitely were when they first dropped the first teaser leading up to the 9th anniversary, and then the release of Beast Gohan. Worst and the dumbest, Rosé's release on Global, how they handled the sync. Yeah, exactly. Covered all of those before, definitely very true. Hypest moment was Beast Gohan's release, seeing him finally in the game was such a blessing. Dumbest moment for me this year was the easy A's for AGL Bardock. Bardock was my first Rainbow TUR. Seeing him botch like that made me so sad. By the way, advanced Happy New Year. Yeah, advanced Happy New Year to everyone. It is New Year's Day. This video is going up at like probably about 4 PM UK time, so we've still got a few hours to go, although I know it's already the new year at this point in places like Australia, Japan. Then we have Nacho, best and dumbest moment combined, global sync. Very mismanaged, but I'm happy it's done. Having pity is nice, bit high for worldwide. Cellmax should have been the part 2 Carnival LR and not the Gammas. I mean, maybe. I mean, would he have been as good if he hadn't released a little bit later? Who knows? Certain restrictions have been terrible. Frieza, the LR Ginyu Force. Yeah, definitely. There's been some weird restriction ones. That is true. Drace, 10 years now with no, I assume it means now friend system. No friend system update. Yeah, that is wild. Like when we do challenge run streams and stuff, I'm just glad I have people like in the chat who are on my friends list who can set units for me, because the number of times you want to do like a specific team for a challenge or just for fun and you just can't because you can't find a friend is like super annoying. 2024 with the sync happening was the perfect chance. Not doing it, yeah. Also the removal of chain battle. I think that was that technically last year? I can't remember, but I was always a chain battle hater, but you know, I missed the rewards. It's a shame that if they did remove it, they didn't replace it with something good to actually be able to get skill orbs, but here's what it is. Global wise, the worst was how the sync was handled from Sub-Zero. They easily could have caught up both versions before the 9th anniversary on Global. Maybe. JP wise, it's been easily the best year. Character strength, tough events, overall they've nailed it this year of almost everything. It's definitely been a great year. Edney Annie says the worst was the sync handled poorly of all the content dropping like a waterfall. Best was some of the EZAs that dropped this year were a lot better than most Dokkan years, i.e. Tech Gogeta, yeah, Super EZAs being a thing, Universe 7, Hype, the new Dokkan going into the new year. Yeah, all the updates that we saw, right? The visual update, all the crazy stuff that we're going to be getting going into January is very exciting as well. The worst part of overall Dokkan is the quality of EZA units. One time we got Omega God of the Game like 6 years and Tech Super Gogeta, and other times we get AGL Bardock. Yeah, exactly. It is weird. It does make you wonder, because AGL Bardock's EZA came out after Kefla, technically, because she was a global first. So she came out on JP later than Bardock, but she came out just overall in the game first, and she was really good, and arguably then became like the best EZA TUR, and then Bardock came out on JP and was just incredibly disappointing. So it makes you wonder like how they, if at all, quality control like this kind of stuff, right? Shadow says the best as a whole is the incredible year of content we got, the units that went with it. Standout is Broly being the start of the saving grace for villains. The first real year villains are a top team, and the worst is easily the sync and how it was handled. Yep. The revival of Physical Rosé was so hype, finally getting a new one after years of waiting. To have him turn out to be bad was one of the worst moments in Dokkan for me. I'll take getting shafted 3,500 stones for a single copy before making a hype unit bad any day of the week. I mean, yeah, him getting a... the reveal was hype, and him... I think they mean reveal, but he did kind of get a revival, I guess, with his passive being updated. But unfortunately, Super Bosses is a team that has kind of just dropped off now. And Physical Rosé kind of relies on Super Boss's allies, which is a shame. If he didn't have that restriction, I feel like he could still be useful on some of these other current teams, but that does hurt him quite a lot. Bringing down, then releasing on these premium units with odd restrictions, like the Physical Super Saiyan Trio, but what I like to call the biggest frauds of the year. They need an all-out struggle or Movie Heroes ally on the rotation, and then Movie Heroes isn't one of their leader skills. That is true. I do find it awkward sometimes because they are such a good unit, but sometimes even I forget. Like, you can't just throw them on a team that they're on, like Super Saiyans, And then unless you have the right allies on the rotation, then obviously they don't get their passive, they won't be giving the support, they won't be as good defensively. That's something you have to be very mindful of when you're putting them on a team. In fact, I think he meant to reply to his own comment, because there's another one here. It says, without all of that, the unit just dies a lot. Which is true. I have had them die a fair bit recently, and sometimes it is my own fault because I haven't checked and I've put them on the team without the right allies, but it is kind of annoying that they have that restriction. Another example of this is the Ginyu Force. At the time of their release, Special Pose wasn't even a competent team. Once Difficult Fight got harder, their defense wasn't high enough. And then, yeah, I don't know if he's just... I guess he meant to reply to his own things, right? Because the other ones just disappeared. I don't know if the other one's on here. Yeah. With high enough, and with most of their links, they want to get 15 ki to raise defense. Their key is so good, it's almost impossible to get. Yeah, because you get too much ki. Legend Dokkan. Beast release, and his kit had to be the craziest. He was so stupid on release. I mean, yeah, he basically gapped the entire game, right? Mike, Gogeta and Broly anniversary for me. I begged for that anniversary since the movie. So yeah, that's definitely very hype for sure. Very good releases as well. I mean, Gogeta still has an argument for having the best taunt ability in the game, because as long as the boss doesn't disable dodge, he literally can't take damage. Whereas Beast, obviously in the later turns when his reduction has run out, or Cell Max if he hasn't had a lot of build up, and you're facing a boss that hits like insanely hard, they could still take some damage. Whereas as long as Gogeta can dodge, he just dodges everything. So they're obviously both very, very good units on release. Worldwide Celebration around the end ended up being hard content, amazing characters, incredible easy ace, minus in Broly. It just felt super fun. Jono says the sync, worst moment in 2024. I want, is it Trent? Best was just anniversary as a whole. Great start to the year, remaking one of the most popular celebrations as part 1 and Beast as part 2. Variety of fights, very similar to OG Red Zone release. Great easy A's. Worst gotta be Namek Vegeta and his easy A's, yeah. Ori, I think best year had by this year had by far the best character designs and difficult content. More specific moment was finally getting an Extreme Class Dokkan Fest exclusive LR for the anniversary, especially a DBS Broly, who we did not have a proper version of since the movie's release. Yeah, the physical one from a long time ago. Very true. DBZ Boy, best hypest moments, standalone Beast Gohan. Worst dumbest moments, physical Rose's existence, they did him dirty, and the entire final Heroes collab. Bonus salt for no double Gogeta. Yep, that is true. People got so excited for the last Hero Celebration to be something really special, and then it just really wasn't. So, biggest moment, Tech UI Goku's release. Literally one of my most wanted units since his introduction in 2018. Worst, I'm going to say the shaft I got during his summons. Damn. Hype and actual Beast Gohan. Dumbest not posting ECA details in English. Yes! We've got the game synced, but not the release of information, which is kind of annoying. Biggest moment, Beast Gohan reveal and release on JP. The hypest, the sync happening. Worst, the announcement of the end of the Hero Celebration. And dumbest, releasing Jiren and Goku and Frieza in December instead of August. Very true. And then Electro Cat, the entire worldwide celebration was pretty boring. The celebration itself definitely has a bit of a bad reputation, but the units were really good. So I think we'll leave it off there because we're getting close to half an hour. There are still a few more comments here, but the video is going to be super long, and I've got some other stuff I need to do. So I do appreciate everybody replying. Like I say, if you did reply but you didn't make it into the video, or maybe you'd replied after I had finished recording, do let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And like I said, even if you did make it into the video, but if there were other things that you wanted to add, obviously let us know all your thoughts down below. This is going to be one of the last videos for the year. I've got the one coming out later on for best and worst units of 2024, but then that is pretty much going to wrap us up. I'm having tomorrow off for New Year's Day, so I'll be back. There'll still be videos, but I'll be back live at some point on Thursday the 2nd. So let me know all your thoughts on Dokkan in 2024. I'll be dropping a video. I might keep an eye out. I'm going to put up another post later asking for stuff that you guys want to see in 2025. And I might make that the first video that we drop on New Year's Day. So do keep an eye out for that as well. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.